What's up, freaks? This is just me, and today we're gonna be ranking the 8 mandatory poses of the conqueror William Bonac from worst to best. And we're gonna be considering the poses throughout the bodybuilder's whole career. That means consistency counts, so if a pose was previously strong and got much worse with time disproportionately to the other poses, it's not gonna top the ranking. That's right. And give me a moment to introduce our bodybuilder for today swiftly. William Bonac is a current IFBB pro, known for the insane amount of thick, round muscle he's packing on his short frame. Despite his structural flaws, he's managed to develop a very balanced and complete physique and place in the top 3 at the Olympia, and he's also a multiple-time Arnold Classic champ, so no slouch in this industry. Okay, so let's starting off with the least effective pose. I have the front lat spread. This is a mandatory that just simply doesn't work for the conqueror. He's not well structurally suited for it with his narrower clavicles. He doesn't have the frame for it, so he looks very scrunched. His chest, lats, and midsection all look actually pretty crappy in this pose, with all due respect to William. The V-taper effect isn't anything to write essays about, because William's lats are so low they appear to insert practically right into his waist, which makes him look blocky, so in this pose it doesn't actually help him that much. To his credit, he's got a world-class lower body for sure though. Nothing wrong about that. But overall, I literally don't recall ever seeing William win a front lat spread decisively against anybody. And the second least powerful pose is the Ebb and Thigh, if you ask me. In this one, William often chooses to do the side variation of the pose, putting more emphasis on his obliques, which is a very smart strategy because his abs are not aesthetic at all. The midsection is fairly wide and washed out, and genetically speaking, is not very eye-pleasing, so he just doesn't have much to work with in this position. But again, I have to comment the wheels. Look at the impressive feathering. So he's actually not hitting the pose that bad. It's not even that much his fault. Now, the next pose is the front double biceps. I think this is a very decent pose for the conqueror, but he's got better for sure. But he doesn't look bad. In the front double, his arms look good thanks to those insanely peaky biceps. And when it comes to the V-taper, I personally like it. I prefer this type of a physique with low lats that insert right into the posing track. It seems I like the way it looks, very aesthetic and pleasing, but objectively it's certainly not ideal. The lats are making the waist appear wider than it is, and the V-taper isn't as noticeable as if the lats were higher, creating somewhat of a Y taper. So I'm trying to be objective, so I think the low lats aren't helping William in this pose, and the same could be said about the short torso. The midsection also ain't very pretty, although he's doing a good job doing a semi-vacuum. So the wheels, which are very thickly developed, look incredible, but he can't really make up for that. And in fifth place, the rear lat spread. In this pose, William the Conqueror looks very unique and recognizable in my opinion, but again his structure is just not ideal. His clavicles aren't that wide, his waist isn't that small, and he's got a short torso. But he's got very impressive lats. Look how low they insert and also the thickness of them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's almost like they are too low. They detract from the V-taper effect, which William sort of lacks in this pose. Either way, he's also got great traps, and his lower body in the back is second to none. It's Ronnie Coleman-esque, if you ask me. So this is a great pose, but he's just not wide enough. So he tends to not look that impressive in a lineup, standing between taller bodybuilders especially. And in fourth place is the side chest pose. This is an excellent pose for William, if you ask me, because it hides his wider midsection and showcases all his round, bubbly muscle in his delts and peaky biceps, bellies, and also the thick pecs and great quads and gigantic glutes if you look downstairs. He looks insanely full in this pose, as well as vascular and striated. He's not lacking any balance, in my opinion. The pecs look to me just as impressive as the arms and shoulders, and so is the lower body, which looks world class. Some people might argue he's turning too much to face the front, thus not hitting the side chest pose properly, but I think this execution is also acceptable, although a lot of bodybuilders do it. Objectively speaking, it doesn't detract from any sort of development, so I think it's fine, and it works, right? So why not? He definitely does look great in this pose. And now, let's get to the top three, which is gonna be a great succession of mandatories, even though not in all of the mandatories William looks that great. For example, in the most muscular, in third place, he looks absolutely world class. We're talking the hands clasped and the crab, because I've never really seen William do a different one. I think he's a bit too narrow for the hands on hip, for instance, but it doesn't matter. He's got these two incredible versions that work so well. Just like in the side chest, William's muscle bellies look ready to burst, even though he's shredded to the bone. His upper body looks super round and full, with the delts and arms just jumping out at you. The chest is not getting overwhelmed, at least in my opinion. It's not a weak muscle group, and the abs look shockingly good to me, too. For some reason, they look better than in the Ebb and Thigh. The quads and calves are as well incredibly developed for a man of the Conqueror's structure and overall size. He's basically flawless in this pose, complete, dry, and not flat at all. The only possible niggling flaws you might point out is that sometimes he still looks a little narrow, and he's overall hardly gonna be the biggest guy on the stage. But he's got tons of freak factor and he's packed with muscle. But I think he hits the side triceps pose just as well, if not better, than his most muscular pose. The execution, when he kicks that calf back and leans back, looks effortless, even though it definitely isn't. It makes Williams' midsection look tiny, and the rest of the body absolutely incredible. To me, he's the definition of aesthetics combined with mass and roundness and thickness in this pose. Look at the impressive calf back there, then the detailed quad, sucked in waist, pretty thick pecs, very good delts, and look at the arms, they're huge too. He's got a more than decent triceps, but just like Lee Priest, for instance, before him, he makes this post about the biceps too. You almost notice it more than the horseshoe, right? It's jutting out there of his arm. With that vein and impressive fullness, the bicep is a definite eye catcher, which in my opinion is good, although it's true this is supposed to be a side try. The only downside to this pose would be that for some reason, for a period, William stopped doing this glorious execution and he tried the more casual one, like you can see on the right of the screen. This is still better than 90% of the IFBB anyway, but it's not as original and it detracts from the cinch in waistline, it looks like. And this was the second place finisher, so let's move on to the winner. I have the back double biceps. In this pose, every muscle group on William looks impressive. He's one of the most, if not the most complete from the rear in bodybuilding history. Let's start from downstairs. Look at the big calves. He's got great hams and giant shredded glutes, and his quad sweeps are also visible, which makes the legs look really thick and muscular. As far as the upper body, he's got great lower lat insertions, and his lats are also thickly developed in all areas. And so are the lower and upper traps. The delts look separated, and the triceps have great size and sweeps. The highlight is his biceps, which is reminiscent of Kai Green's or Robbie Robinson's in this pose. Even though they're not that beaky and tall, they look great. And even the forearms are also there. He looks so perfect in this pose. The only flaw, once again, he's got is a structural one, the clavicles being on the narrower side. So, not the best V-taper, but definitely the best detail and definition. Don't you guys agree? So, let me know down in the comment section below if you do, if you would have the same ranking as me, or if not, how should it be reordered. In this video, I was trying to be objective and very fair as possible, but it's just not possible to avoid any personal biases, so your opinion might vary and you are entitled to it, so be sure to let us all know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch some William Bonac videos and also like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.